This Buffalo Sports Page video update is brought to you by our Pressbox partners, AXA Advisors, Redefining Standards, Encore Golf, Buffalo's golf ball, buy it at buffalosportspage.com, by Hamburg Overhead Door, visit them at hamburgdoor.com, and by The Plumber. Don't just call anyone, call The Plumber at theplumberwny.com.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the bnblitz.com Daily Drive podcast with Kevin Sylvester. My name is Paul Peck. We're from buffalosportspage.com, and Kevin, here we are on a Monday, rehashing a rather disappointing Bills loss in Cincinnati. But first, I want to tell you to try the Buffalo News bnblitz.com for 2 weeks for free. After that, you'll be charged just $2.99 a month for a subscription. If it doesn't deliver what you need, you may cancel at any time. Buffalo News and buffalonews.com subscribers also have free access to bnblitz.com. A 20-16 defeat, Kevin. A lot of fans really disappointed and upset. I think it's a combination of getting built up by the way the season started and then sort of seeing some of the things that they were used to seeing in the past. What we're going to do here in this edition of the Daily Drive podcast, touch on sort of four main topics that you and I sort of thought were the keys to this game. Tyrod Taylor, obviously, lack of a running game, and then on the defense, both the bad, which was not being able to stop A.J. Green, and the good, forcing three more takeaways. So let's start with your overall thoughts and lead them into Tyrod Taylor.
Well, clearly it's the media's fault because we built up the football team to be something that maybe they're not. I'm kidding, obviously. Injuries were a factor for this football team, and they are for every football team. I mean, every football team deals with injuries, but you have to believe, even if Clay doesn't get hurt, the tight end, they have a downfield threat that can catch the football. Missing Jordan Matthews. I mean, with Matthews and Clay out of there, that's their receiving threats on the outside.
That's their two best receiving threats.
Yes.
And frankly, at least in Jordan Matthews' case, probably not even a top 25 NFL wide receiver ranked receiving threat.
Yeah, he's maybe on the cusp of 25.
Okay.
I don't want to discount him, but I see your point. Yeah, you would probably find 25 other receivers you would pick before Jordan Matthews. Right now, the Buffalo Bills would die to have Jordan Matthews back, and they may get him. He may be back after the bye week, which is a good update from Sean McDermott on that. But Tyrod Taylor simply had nobody to throw the football to, and if you got nobody to throw the football to stretch the field, then they can stack the box and get after LaShawn McCoy. So, overall, this team was decimated by injuries on offense. Defense, they did everything they do. We're going to get more in depth on it, but just real quick, it was like every game we've seen this year for the Bills. It just didn't go their way. Every game's been close, and this is one that did not go their way.
All right, not to put any words into your mouth, I don't want to let Tyrod Taylor off the hook completely here either. I know that he didn't have much to throw to. I know he didn't have a lot of weapons. I also clearly saw that the very good Bengals front seven did what we thought they might be able to do to him, which is not let him roll out, keep him in the pocket. They've obviously geared up to stop the run. But, again, and maybe it's just one play, and because it's an important play, it sticks in my head. That play that he took the sack on the last drive was classic Tyrod Taylor, same thing we've seen 50 times from him over the last 3 seasons. Inability to pull the trigger, inability to throw to even a borderline covered player, and just a lack of awareness that you've got to get rid of the football. I felt like I saw a little more of that again. Now, again, his fault, like receiver's fault, I think both. But again, it was the same Tyrod Taylor that we've seen over the last 2 years that has me convinced he is not the long-term answer here. I think they were able to do some things in the first 4 games to alleviate that. But again, as teams start to figure out what it is that they want to do, they're taking that away, and Tyrod isn't good enough to respond.
Every fan that watches football was saying, get rid of it. On that play for Tyrod. They know. Fans watch football. They know he had to get rid of that, and he didn't. I mean, throw it away. You're outside of the tackle box. Throw it out of bounds. Never does it. Baffles me why he doesn't. He's got a strong arm. I don't know why he didn't do that there. He's waiting for somebody to get open. Sometimes you have to throw players open.
Yep. He's never really been willing to do that. That's just not his game.
Well, he did it to Tate on the touchdown. That was an unbelievable throw. That's the baffling thing to me with Tyrod Taylor. He makes an all-pro throw to Brandon Tate for a touchdown. That was a great throw and catch, but we saw it once in the game. And, And there's other times where he hits receivers. I don't want to pick on the rookie, but he hits him and he drops it. So you can argue both sides of it for Tyler. You really can argue both sides of it. But in that instance, he can't take that sack. It was just a killer in the football game. But we're also talking about having him do something I think he's done once, lead him to a final drive, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what our expectation was there.
There shouldn't have been many expectations. I just don't think he's capable of doing that. All right, so the second point, and we'll certainly talk more about Taylor as the week goes on. Second point is the running game and lack of it and why. And I'll give you my thoughts on it. New blocking scheme, I think, is part of it. But I think mostly, the linemen are still pretty good players. I think mostly it's defenses know that's what they can do. Know what defenses are loading up to stop it. However many men there are in the box or just in the way that they're playing it. I just think teams know that we need to stop the run. We need to stop one of the best running backs in the league. And so far they've been successful. I think you add a layer of a new scheme in. But the Bills aren't going anywhere unless they can get the running game going somehow.
I agree. It's their passing game set up on the run and the play action run. It was interesting that Cordy Glenn was active, dressed, didn't play. Dawkins continued to play.
Struggled a bit, too.
Yes, he did. The other Ducasse was in there instead of Miller. I'm not blaming him, but so they had a new player on the offensive line yesterday in the game. It's clear that McCoy wasn't getting to the edge, that the Bengals, were shadowing him and were just shutting that down.
Yeah, Perfect was great.
Perfect was great in that, and they were not missing tackles on LaShawn McCoy. The big run came back via hold. Now you could say, well, that's why it was there. Maybe not. Yeah, they have to find a way to get the running game going, and maybe they need the other change of pace back that's got a little bit more burst than Tolbert has. I mean, the Toll-Dozer, hey. You need guys who can get some tough yards, but they just needed yards, let alone tough yards yesterday.
Yeah, and again, I think something, they have good players in Incognito and Wood, and there's some good players up front. I think they just need to probably get a little more comfortable with the zone blocking scheme, which is different than what it was last year. All right,
let me ask you, hang on. Let me ask you, if Buffalo was so great at running the football last year, and they clearly were, and that was even without Tyrod Taylor's yards as a quarterback running, why would you change it?
Well, I don't know that I'm qualified to know how much of a change it really is. Did they zone block run last year? I'm pretty
Probably
sure they
at times.
did.
That's fair to say. Sure.
So maybe instead of doing it 40% of the time, are they doing it 60 this year? I'm not comfortable answering the question for you, because if I answer it, it's immediately accusing Rick Dennison of pulling a Rex Ryan, which is not suiting to your talent the right way. But this is what he's been very successful at in a lot of different stops, and it's been very successful in a lot of different places. And NFL coaches are going to go with what they know and what they believe and what they've had success in. For Rick Dennison, that is a zone blocking scheme.
But the fascinating thing to me is, does it work for a guy like LaShawn McCoy?
Don't know about that.
Right?
That's
because
a
he's
good
different.
point.
He's a little
He's
different.
not
runner.
a one-cut upfield guy, which is what you always know a zone blocking offense wants.
Yeah, that's the thing that, how much of an adjustment is for LaShawn McCoy with that. He's trying to find the hole, cuts on a dime. That's his Twitter handle.
That's right.
And, I wonder if he's adjusting to that. And, the other part of it is he as fresh? Now, this is going to sound ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
I don't even know what you said.
Well, he's the threat. They're putting him out, as a wide out. I mean, he's the guy. They're going to him all the time, I don't know how taxing is that.
I'm not ready to go there yet. He welcomes that. He wants that. He's a star player. He wants to touch the ball. He'd like to touch the ball every time. You can't. But, yeah, he's almost 30 years old. I get it. I don't know that's much of a factor yet. Okay. All right, let's flip around to the other side of the ball on the defense. Let's talk about what the defense did poorly, which is, hey, again, you're not the first defense to give up almost 200 yards receiving to A.J. Green. He's a great player, arguably one of the best in the league. You put a rookie corner on him. Granted, a rookie corner has been fantastic. He's been the defensive player of the month, but he's a rookie corner, and A.J. turned him around a little bit on the one long touchdown early and then made a huge play late. The Bills had been so good about not giving up big plays in the passing game. It reared its ugly head How much of that was AJ? How much of that was failings on them? I don't know. Probably a combo.
You know where I thought they failed? They didn't get to Andy Dalton as much as I thought they would, and that's how he had time to find AJ Green. And, Andy Dalton can throw the jump ball to AJ Green, if you will. The 50-50 football, as they call it, although some of those are right on the money. I mean, you're talking about a team that was challenged, that needed to win it. They scored their first rushing touchdown in the football game. They turned things around with that win against the Browns coming into it. We're talking about guys who've made the playoffs before. We're talking about a nice combination there, Dalton and Green. I almost think if you put Green on the Bills, the game would have been completely different. Right?
I agree with you on that.
You look at the rosters on that team. I think Dalton's a very good passer. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I think he's a pretty good quarterback. But he has A.J. Green to throw to. It's almost as if the Bills had A.J. Green and Tyrod Taylor could throw those 50-50 balls to A.J. Green and Dalton didn't have them. I dare say that's a different outcome in the football game.
I agree. I think A.J. Green's a guy who takes a good quarterback and makes him really good. I think that's been clear with Andy Dalton. It would be clear almost with any other team that
I will not say, as I saw some other people say on Twitter, well, Julio Jones didn't get hurt. The Bills would have lost to the Falcons. I will not go there because I thought the Bills played a great game against the Falcons and did a fine job there. That could be argued, but it's moot.
I was bothered more by the defense on the last series that led to the go-ahead field goal. There weren't any big plays, a couple 15-yarders and a 12-yarder, but I just thought that was too easy. It was too easy for Andy Dalton to hit the tight end and, in a couple of those. When the game's on the line, you're like, let's go here. You still got a chance to win this game if you can force them into at least a longer field goal. I was a little disappointed by that. But once again...
Mabin, right, it's in his chest in the end zone. That's a huge play.
Huge play. Giant play. Changes the whole game.
Yeah.
And again, there's an example of the final point we want to touch on, which is another 3 takeaways. What are the Bills up to +9 now in the takeaway margin? 8, 9, somewhere around there.
I think it's 8 +8.
Just amazing how that Lorenzo Alexander hit on AJ Green was fantastic, and you got lucky enough. It's so funny. AJ Green almost was the go to that game with the 2 fumbles. Or the glanced pass. He's the hero of the game or the go to the game. It's the way the NFL works. But I love what the Bills are doing. I love the fact that they kind of know the defense knows it needs to take the ball away. And frankly, there were quotes from Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde after the game that saying, well, I got to score on that. And that's a little bit of a you could read into that as a slight at the offense, but okay, good, go for it.
Well, I think they recognize they have an opportunity to score at open field. They have momentum running and a cut here or there. I don't take it as a slight on the offense. I think they take it as, man, I missed an opportunity to score because I had some open field in front of me. That's 2 weeks in a row they've got fortunate bounces on fumbles, right? Going to defensive backs.
Yeah, well, if you're in the right place because you're playing your position well, then it's not lucky.
Yeah, the good news is that the safeties are the one taking it away. These guys are playing great, the safety position. They weren't able to take advantage of it.
And they're down 2 corners in this game, too. Let's not lose sight of the fact that E.J. Gaines is out and then Leonard Johnson goes out, so that's why Mabin was even in there.
But, think about this. If they didn't take the football away and get that, hit by Alexander, the game's not even in reach, right?
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. You're a good team and you do that. I know that you can't always count on them, but they've had them every week. So, I'm not. That's just what they do. They know how to take the ball away. And,
it reminds me of a few years ago. The Bills defense did the same thing, and the offense. They can't seem to get it together. Right?
Well, they're not the only ones that can't seem to get that together.
He just said they can't get the defense and the offense to be symbiotic here with scoring points and having a great defense year in and year out. But that's the way things go in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. So there's your breakdown a little bit on the Bills-Bengals game. Tomorrow on the Daily Drive podcast, we'll take a little bit of a broader approach of saying, well, what do we think of the Bills now? Does this change our thinking at all after they lose to Cincinnati? So that'll be the topic for tomorrow. But to wrap up today, it's time for the 2-minute drill.
All right, Paul, and the 2-minute drill, I know this happens to you. Sometimes you crack the screen on your Apple phone, your device. You need that repaired. Go see our friends at Experiment Orchard Park. They offer expert repairs on Apple devices, Androids, PCs, and much, much more, including your laptop. Spill some coffee in there. They can fix that. Trust the experts. We trust Experiment Orchard Park.
Well, the topic of the 2-minute drill is the fact that, as bad as people around here feel about the Bills, they are still tied for first place. And guess who one of the teams they're tied with?
Well, it's clearly the Patriots.
The resurgent New York Jets, who have won 3 games in a row.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, but I've thought a little bit about it. And, again, you frame it around the fact that everybody thought they were going to be bad. They're tanking. They stink. They want the first pick or whatever. But in reality, what's happened to the Jets, 2 things. They haven't played a particularly hard schedule, but that's okay. You beat the teams you need to beat. Go on the road and win in Cleveland. I don't care where you go. You beat Miami. I mean, you beat the teams that are around where you are. But I feel like the key to the Jets this year is they gutted a lot of guys, veterans off that team, brought a lot of young players in, mostly players that the general public and frankly even us don't know very much about. So that led to the tank talk. But what you did by bringing a bunch of young, hungry players in is you got guys playing hungry, playing with effort, guys playing for jobs, playing for their chance to be a legitimate NFL player. And I think in the NFL, talent is one thing, but if you have a bunch of guys who are playing hard, playing their rear ends off every play, every week, you're going to win some games just based on that.
Paul, we got it wrong. They're talking about the New York Giants, not the
That's
Jets
true.
On the tank. Hey, you know what? Give credit to the Jets, their coaching staff. Todd Bowles, the head coach there, that he has a team prepared. He has them playing, and they've won football games. It's probably the Major League. Remember the movie Major League?
Yeah,
It's probably that
bit.
kind of syndrome. Like, all right, we'll show them here.
That's
Gordon.
right.
To go out and win football games.
That's a very good Lou Brown impersonation.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
there. I like Lou Brown. Darn, get in front of the ball. And I cleaned it up here for our. I don't know why I cleaned it up. It's a podcast, but anyhow, it is fascinating to see the Bills and Jets both with 3 wins. Well, we'll see what happens as we move along here in the National Football
Talent
League.
tends to even itself out down the road in the NFL. At some point, coaching and talent tends to even out whether you win or games or not. But I think the Bills and the Jets are both using the same theory, which is they're playing as a team. They're playing as a group. They're playing super hard all the time. That you're going to win more games than you think you'll win when you do that. There are going to be games when you're going to lose them like you did with the Bills on Sunday, or you're going to lose them on one play like Carolina, and there are going to be games against an A.J. Green where you can play 100% of your effort and you're still not as good as that guy playing 50%. But overall, you win, you play hard, you give maximum effort, you're going to win in the NFL.
I feel like we gave maximum effort today.
Absolutely, we did. We thank you for joining us on the Daily Drive podcast here on the BNBlitz.com. For Kevin Sylvester, my name is Paul Peck. Have yourself a great Monday.